Hi everyone, it's Don, and I just wanted to talk to you. A lot of people are terrified of being in a hurricane in a cruise ship, but let me tell you why your fears may not be founded. So, in all my recent memory, I can only remember one cruise ship being in a heavy storm without having like a mechanical issue or something. We remember the Viking ship that was stuck off the coast of Norway. It ran out of power in its generators, which caused it to be in trouble. But as far as leaving a port, say here in North America, and heading to the Caribbean, I can only remember one in recent memory, and it was about a year or so before the pandemic. I think it was the Anthem of the Seas, but it was one of the large ships, Royal Caribbean. It left New York City while three other cruise ships decided not to leave New York City. That ship decided, yeah, I'm going to head out, and it got caught in the storm and basically spent about 24 hours in the same area just doing this, keeping pace, not running all over the place and not drifting, just steady pace in one direction. The ship was never really in any danger, but it did have a lot of damage to the top decks. Stuff was blown around as that storm that it got caught in moved in much faster than expected and caught the ship out there. It did make its way back to New York, and people showed videos of the waves on the lower decks. You saw some interior cabins or ocean view cabins, and you could see the waves coming up and hitting the side of the ocean view cabins. Very dramatic, but the ship was never really in any danger at all. And that is really the only one that I can think of in recent memory that, with nothing happening like a power failure or anything like that, ran into a storm. Normally, the cruise ships can easily outrun a storm. They can travel faster than the average storm goes. For instance, the hurricane that is hitting Florida at the moment is moving at about 10 miles an hour, and a cruise ship can hit 23, 24, 28, depending on the cruise ship, knots per hour, which is even faster than miles per hour. So they can usually outrun a hurricane or a storm, even if it was chasing them across the Caribbean. However, they steer clear of it. They're always in touch with the weather station in Miami. Most cruise lines have their own meteorologist, and he predicts the weather. They're in touch with the Hurricane Center in Canada. They're in touch with the Hurricane Center in the United States. They're in touch with the hurricane centers in Europe. All over the world, everyone who is tracking hurricanes, they pool all those resources together and map out the best and safest route for passengers, which is the main thing, because they will avoid all rough seas whenever possible, and they will not go to a port if it's in any danger. In fact, usually the port will close well before anything ever gets near the cruise port as far as rough seas and storms is concerned. You just saw Tampa Bay closed down. You saw Port Canaveral close down a full 18 to 20 hours before the storm hit. They will not accept ships. They will not accept anything under a certain, weight category, gross tonnage. So for anyone who's really afraid of being in a storm on a cruise ship, it's very, very rare to be in a severe storm. You might be in near a thunderstorm and hear it off in the distance. You might have a windstorm and that, but nothing to the degree that will endanger the ship. And cruise ships nowadays are huge. They are usually strong enough and big enough to last anything that Mother Nature throws at them, unless some really strange, unforeseen thing happens, like what happened with the Viking ship, when motor oil ended up leaving the engines because of the way it was going up and down. The sensor kept on saying, you're out of oil, and so for precautionary reasons, the sensor shuts down the engines. And that's when they ended up getting in trouble. Well, I guarantee you an Oasis class or a Quantum class or a Royal class ship on Princess, those ships, they aren't going like this. They're going like this because they're so big and so large, and they have stabilizers, they have all the electronics in the world. You are probably safer in a hurricane. In fact, I'll pretty much say that. It's better to be on a cruise ship in a hurricane than on land, because the hurricane has to chase the cruise ship and the cruise ship can get out of the way. In land, you're just waiting for it to hit and hoping it's not too bad. And yeah, that's what's happening in Florida. And I just want to wish everybody in Florida, I know you're going through a rough time right now. Everybody please stay safe. Don't do anything foolish. And wait it out. But yeah, number one thing, be safe.